Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, episode number 562. I know, I don't normally give the episode numbers. A lot of podcasts do. I often don't really pay attention, but I happen to have taken a look. Because, as you know, on Fridays I answer your questions, or I should say every week I answer your questions when I have questions that are sent in through various means. I recommend going to ama.fppradio.com. AMA, of course, standing for Ask Me Anything. ama.fppradio.com. And I often, and sometimes I forget, but I often, early in the week, will make a post on the social medias asking for questions. And this time, and I referenced these last week because, well, I had the questions just a little bit before the show began, and I didn't have time to research. And these questions come from, someone who is very close, but also someone who not too long ago decided to go back and listen to some of the early episodes. Yeah, that's right. Somebody went back and listened to early episodes of the show and then said, Darryl, can you give an update on a couple of these stories? And I said, which ones? And this person, they know who they are, not going to give details about who asked questions because all questions are anonymous. But this person said, so can you give an update on the Santa Claus that was arrested and whatever happened to Hemingway's cats? Now, again, these are stories that I covered close to 6 years ago, and I wasn't really able to find any information about either of these cases. Both of them involved court, obviously. Santa Claus being arrested. He was charged with criminal mischief and evading arrest. Yes, that's right. Santa Claus, and I'll read a story here from Huffington Post, and I'll post it in the show notes as well, along with what I attempted to find as far as updates, which is to say I found nothing as far as updates. I found several stories about the arrest, but nothing as far as whether the charges were dropped, whether he was convicted, whether he took a plea. I tried finding the court dockets and was not able to find anything for this particular person for 2012 or 2013. So again, Santa Claus arrested in Austin, Texas. Actually, it was a man dressed as Santa. His name, James Peterson. He was drawing on the sidewalk with chalk, and again was arrested for criminal mischief and evading arrest because, well, he happened to have been on the grounds of the state capitol building in Austin, Texas, and the state police, or Capitol Police, I believe it was, in this situation, did not like it. Santa said his favorite word was community. Now, in addition to Santa drawing on the ground with chalk, there were children drawing on the ground with chalk as well. Words such as peace, friendship, and grace were written on the ground. And again, Santa said his favorite was community. Santa here, a.k.a. James Peterson, was a member of Occupy Austin, or at least Occupy Austin, happened to have been there and got video of his arrest. Again, all I can find are multiple stories of his arrest. No information at all available in an easy-to-find manner. Or again, I tried going to the court website for Travis County, Texas, and was not able to find any court. The other story that someone wanted me to follow up on was Ernest Hemingway's cats. You may recall, or maybe not, because it's been a long time, there was a lawsuit of sort, a court action, shall we say, where the Ernest Hemingway house, which is a museum in Key West, Florida, that is currently occupied by Ernest Hemingway's cats. Well, the cats that are descended from the cats that Ernest Hemingway had. It's basically the Hemingway estate now is that house. The cats live in that house. And the Department of Agriculture said that, no, see, when you have cats that are in a place that people go and they pay money to go to, then that means you're a zoo and you've got to get special permits and licenses, etc., etc., in order to be able to be a zoo. And, well, the article from the New York Times at the end of December 2012 states that the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit ruled that the agency, the Department of Agriculture, has the power to regulate cats under the Animal Welfare Act, which applies to, quote, zoos and traveling circus animals, because the museum uses the cats in advertisements. Yeah, that's right. So because the cats live in a house and the operators of the house and museum advertise that cats live at the house, those cats are then part of a, quote, zoo. And they wound up needing to get some kind of federal license. I couldn't find out whether exactly they did or not, but I did find that they're still advertising the cats, so I'm guessing they did. Stay tuned. There's more here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. It's already been an extraordinary year for the Innocence Project and their clients. They've already freed more innocent people in the past 12 months than in any year in the history of the Innocence Project, and they're gearing up to do even more. The attorneys and paralegals for the Innocence Project are dedicated to doing whatever it takes to set an innocent person free. To support them, a new cohort of law students have recently joined and are excited to help with more than 200 cases of clients seeking to prove their innocence. 9 clients have been exonerated and reunited with their families in 2018 already, and your support now will help build on the incredible momentum of exonerations. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. We'll change gears here in just a moment. But first, I want to make sure that I tell you about a longtime sponsor since the beginning of the year. You've heard me talking about Zencash. Well, about a month and a half, almost 2 months ago now, Zencash rebranded to be Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency itself, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. That's Horizen, horizon.global. Now, you've, over the last couple of years, if you've listened to the show, you've heard me talk about my weight loss journey, right? And just to recap, I did weigh well over 300 pounds and did very little physical activity. This was after, when I was in high school 20 plus years ago, being fairly active, but then just, got hurt here, got hurt there, tried to lose some weight, screw it, got hurt again, tried to lose some weight, screw it, got hurt, screw it, and then just got really fat. And then one day I decided, and it's one of those things to where for a while I had wanted to make a change but didn't know how to and didn't really have the motivation to, and then one day basically I had the motivation. So it's not like I just woke up one day and said, I think I'm going to do this. It was, again, something I wanted to do but didn't have the motivation, and one day I did get the motivation and wound up, drastically changing my diet and losing a bunch of weight, and then got into running, and as I'm recording this, just over 2 weeks, I will be in New York City for the New York City Marathon. And you've probably heard me talk about raising money for the Innocence Project, and I'm looking to raise $5,000. I actually just a couple of minutes ago saw that I got an email where someone had donated $10 to the Innocence Project through run.fppradio.com, which brings me now to $47.55. So I am less than $250 away from my personal goal, which is over the minimum goal set by the New York Roadrunners and the Innocence Project. Again, to learn more about the Innocence Project or to donate, go to run.fppradio.com. And I say that to loop back into talking about the weight loss journey. And there are mistakes that people make. A lot. And one of the mistakes people make, and there's actually a list here, an article from MyFitnessPal. They go over 9 of the mistakes, but one of the mistakes that people make is thinking that there can be some kind of short-term, if I just do X for the next Y number of days, then I will lose all of this weight and everything will be wonderful, and then I can go back to doing what I was doing. No. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. But again, that's a very common mistake, and that's one that most people are aware of. The article here talks about some of the mistakes that people don't necessarily think of as common mistakes, right? So again, let's jump into the article, and yes, as always, the link will be in the show notes. Number 1 on the list, and I am skipping the introductory paragraph and a half here. Number 1, working out more but eating less. This is one of the worst mistakes that certified strength and conditioning specialist Noam Tamir sees with his clients. Tamir says, these two things don't go together. When you amp up your workout regimen, your body will naturally crave more food to fuel it through the intensified training. So when you try to cut calories at the same time, you could end up depriving your body and risk triggering a bout of binge eating. Now, that's not to say that just because you had a really good workout, you go and splurge and biggie size it. No, you still need to keep your calories in a certain range, And this is something that I made this mistake as well, to where I was severely restricting calories. I was working out. I was doing other things. And, it's definitely a mistake. Again, it's one that not everybody does, but it's common enough to where apparently strength and conditioning coaches see it with their clients as one of the worst mistakes. Number 2, also a mistake that I made. And I realize that's not something that people are supposed to admit, right? Like, you're not supposed to admit that you made a mistake. Isn't that one of the first rules of radio? Never admit you made a mistake. Number 2 on the list here is obsessively cutting calories. And, let me say here that the sort of, and I hate the word diet to describe what I was doing for nearly a year to lose 145 pounds, but during that time, I did severely restrict calories. I think most days I was in the 1,000 to 1,200 range. There were days that I was at or below 600 calories. Not good. It's not something I recommend to anybody else. Not in the least. But I say it because it's what I did. I'm not going to hide what I did. But I want you to learn from my mistakes as much as I learned from my mistakes. Stay tuned. Here's more.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Continuing with the list here. And we're just on item number 2 of 9 of mistakes that people make on a weight loss journey. Number 1 is working out more but eating less. Number 2 is obsessively cutting calories, skipping the paragraph that they have here. But again, just because you cut some calories, it's definitely going to benefit in the short term, but it might also, depending on how bad you cut, might screw up with your metabolism. Number 3, obsessively working out. If you overdo it at the gym, it can have a reverse effect. Even though you're getting enough fuel from your diet, Tamir, again, a strength and conditioning coach, Noam Tamir, says when you work out too much, you end up burning muscle in addition to fat. You increase stress hormones in the body, which makes it harder to lose fat. You also put a lot of stress on your joints, which can lead to injuries that cause you to move less and therefore gain weight. Committing to time in the gym is a key part of losing weight, but only when you give your body the time it needs to recover between sweat sessions. That means, Darryl, every now and then you need to take a day off from either going to the gym or running. You can't do things every day. Take a rest day every now and then, Darryl. Even if it means, and preferably rest days don't happen after you give yourself a concussion and realize that you can't go running that day. Not that I'm speaking from experience of what happened yesterday, which is why I didn't go for a run. Number 4 on the list, skipping a big meal for a snack strategy. Rethinking our eating strategy is a crucial component of weight loss, but avoiding a full plate of food like the plague is not the answer. Kate Geegan says, we know that people should be eating a mix of meals and snacks, but people take it to the extremes when they're snacking all day, and that can backfire. It can also blunt your sense of hunger and satiety. I think that's probably a variant of satiation. You don't realize that you're full if you just nibble all day. When you eat a lot of small meals, you lose your sense of whether or not you're actually hungry. If you're opting to forego 3 big meals a day for mini meals, make sure you're paying attention to the overall calories and nutrients that you're consuming. All those snacks add up fast. Number 5. And this kind of ties into number 4, but not directly. It's slightly different. Mistake number 5 is skipping breakfast. They say your mom wasn't joking when she said breakfast was the most important meal of the day. Foregoing it means your body kicks into starvation mode where it stores food rather than using it for fuel. Tamir says, I see clients trying not to eat in the morning because they think they can cut calories that way. Then they just end up eating a lot at dinner when they are most sedentary and tend to overeat. Now, I know that there are some people that they will eat a single meal a day. So basically they're taking what's referred to as intermittent fasting. They're taking that to a big extreme, and they're going roughly 22 hours between meals. And then they'll just have one really big meal that lasts them 1 or 2 hours or more. I've heard of people that they start eating at, say, 5 o'clock, and they finish at 9 o'clock. And it's just a big meal. Now, they're not constantly, forking food into their mouth for 4 straight hours, but they're having a very large meal over the course of those 4 straight hours, where most people will have something early-ish in the morning for breakfast, unless they're skipping it. Then they'll have a meal somewhere around noontime, and then they have a meal when they get home from work, late afternoon, early evening. Some people wait and eat late evening. Now, there are all kinds of theories about should you eat after 8 o'clock at night, and a lot of that has to do with what time do you go to bed, what time do you wake up, how active are you throughout the day. Again, there's not a one-size-fits-all solution for all of these things, but the point here is don't skip breakfast thinking you will save calories and then wind up eating just a much bigger supper than if you had eaten breakfast. Number 6, again, on the list of mistakes that people make on a weight loss journey, doing a cleanse or a detox diet. Despite all of the hype, cleanses can be dangerous. Geegan says souping and juicing can be great, but you might still be consuming a lot of calories. Juices packed with, quote, superfoods are often high in calories, and sometimes people mistake juices intended to be a meal replacement as an alternative to a diet soda or another beverage. Similarly, doing a juice cleanse for a few days is not really teaching you new diet or new eating habits. Geegan says, consistency in finding an eating plan and sticking to it is a much more effective weight loss strategy than the detox-retox strategy. You need to be able to stick with whatever you're doing for the long haul. Number 7, too much cardio. According to Tamir, when people only do cardio to lose weight, they often end up being what's referred to as skinny fat. Avoiding strength training when you go to the gym in order to increase your calorie burn will help you drop those pounds, but the catch is it won't change your body composition. Doing too much cardio can even end up burning muscle and upping your body fat percentage. Stay tuned. There's more during the closing moments.
In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com.
It is the year 91,001 BCE. Witness humanity's origins in Hyperchronius, a classic role-playing game for Windows PCs, with a story like no other game before. A liberty-oriented experience that is not to be missed. Go to ZOG.Ninja to get your copy of Hyperchronius today. Use the code FPP to get $1 off. Hyperchronius, ZOG.Ninja, code FPP.
Hey, this is Scott from the ANCAP Barbershop, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. We'll hopefully finish the article here in the closing moments, but first I want to make sure that I tell you about a website that you need to bookmark, especially if you use cryptocurrency, and that is Spend-A-Bit. Spend-A-Bit is the search engine for things that you can buy with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. They've aggregated millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend a bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. Now, continuing on, we've got two more things on the list of 9 mistakes that people make on their weight loss journey. And I've made several of these because that's what I do. Now, it's not that I intended to make these mistakes, and had I known about these things 3.5 years ago when I started my weight loss journey, then, well, maybe I would not have made these mistakes. Number 8. Now, number 7 was doing too much cardio. Again, that can wind up burning muscle in addition to burning fat. But if it burns too much muscle, then that just increases your body fat percentage, even though your weight is dropping. Number 8 on the list, banning fat or cutting all carbs. I know in certain circles it is heresy to say that you should eat a carb. And I know in other circles it is heresy to say that you should eat something that has some fat in it. Again, there's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Maybe you not even looking in the direction of a carb is working for you, ... in the short term. But there are health problems if you don't wind up getting certain nutrients. Continuing on, reading the paragraph here, they say nixing a singular nutrient group like fat, carbs, or sugar can backfire majorly. Nutrient expert from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics says while you may lose weight in the short term, these restrictive diets are not easy for people to maintain in the long term. Cutting carbs and sugar can cut off your workout fuel. Carbs are those miracle molecules that really fuel our bodies. In other words, your body needs them. Number 9 is falling for the health halo. And that's the thing where you look at, kale, quinoa, agave, coconut oil. These things that are sent from heaven just to eat them constantly. Yet that doesn't work either. I'll be back next week answering your questions. ama.fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Though Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.